Hey everyone, welcome back to our Facebook Live video series. Today we are going to be doing a French look on this adorable little vintage French provincial end table. So if you look at the photo from yesterday when we posted about the video that we're doing today, what we did is it was just the piece itself. So last night I went ahead and I did a base coat of country gray. You see that a lot through French style furniture, so I went ahead and based that because I wasn't really happy with how the furniture started out, the color of it. So I went ahead and based it in that last night, and then today we'll be doing a custom color mix that is a color that we see in French country looks, French looks, whether it's whatever style you like of the French, provincial, this is the style. So basically we'll be painting the custom color mix over top of the country gray, and I'll be kind of referencing what I did in last week's video where we left some of the open areas of the base color showing through. So that's kind of what we're going to see, and I have done the one side so that we can complete it today for you so you know how to do the waxing, and we'll be using some dark wax too. So welcome back. Please feel free to ask questions and put some comments in the message part, but I'm excited you're here. If you haven't joined us before, my name is Amy, and I own Edwin Loy Home, and next week we actually celebrate 6 years. So we're excited you're here with us today, and this is our live Facebook series. So what we like to do is we always start out with the supplies that we're going to need on hand. So I'm going to show you the colors, the color and then the waxes and everything else that you need to have on hand for this project. So what we're going to start out with is obviously if your furniture is a color that you like to start with, that's totally fine. This was just a kind of a creamy finish, which most of that like 70s French provincial furniture is. So I went ahead and did country gray. It is a really pretty color. It has a greenish yellow tint to it. I really like it. And we went ahead and put that down first. So if your wood is a darker wood that you like and you want to distress down to that to see it, that's totally fine. But if you're not happy with the color of your furniture piece to begin with, you're going to want to put another color down, because basically if you distress down after you do your top coat, you're going to see what you begin with. So we went ahead and kind of took care of that issue to begin with. I went ahead then and mixed up this beautiful color. This is 3 parts Old Violet to 1 part Louis Blue. And it's a really pretty blue with a little bit of a tint of purple in it. Is that good? So this is what we'll be putting over top of the country gray. And the easiest way to do your mixing, I always tell everyone that comes in to start with a very small amount of paint, like teaspoon to teaspoon ratios. That way you can get the color that you want first before you mix all your paint up. So it's really important to start with very small mixtures, and you definitely want to finish it all the way out with the wax, because once you put the wax over the paint, it does deepen the colors. So it's really important that when you're doing your mixes that you also finish them with the wax so that you know the end result. So once you get your mixture down, you can grab these really great empty quart-sized buckets that have actually plastic lids. And they do all the ratios for you, so it's really nice when you're mixing. So this was 3 parts of the Old Violet to 1 part of Louis Blue. So I just, did 3 parts, 12 ounces, and then 1 part made up to 16 ounces. Stirred it really well. It's really important that you do stir the mixture really, really well to incorporate both colors together. And then you're ready to go. So that's what we have in this mixture here, is that Louis Blue and Old Violet mixture. And then of course we need Annie's natural paintbrush. We do want some brush stroke and texture, so her natural paintbrush is perfect for this. Then you're going to have your clear wax, and we are going to age up with the dark wax as well, so it's important to have that on hand ready to go. I have Annie's waxing brush here, and then we just have one of our little off-brand brushes that we're going to use for the dark wax. And then of course you want to have your waxing rags on hand and some 220 grit sandpaper, because we are going to want to bump it back a little bit. I'm going to leave some open areas like we did on the lamp last week, but there's going to be some further distressing that I'm going to want to apply to it. And then of course you'll want to have a bucket to rest your brushes in, some stir sticks, and some other terry cloth type rags just to have on hand when you're kind of squeezing that excess water out. All right, so we have the base coat, the country gray. So now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to do the top coat of the old violet over top, or excuse me, the old violet and lily blue mixture over top of this. So Alina's going to zoom in. We're going to get a little bit closer. Feel free to ask questions, comments, or just to say hello. So I'm going to take this drawer out and move some things around. All right. I'll leave this kind of in here like this, I think, first. It'll be easier versus taking it off. So make sure throughout your project, depending upon the size, that you do stir your paint up so that, you know, when you're sitting here with your project and you're working on it, the paints do, the pigments start to settle down again at the bottom. So you want to make sure you're stirring your project, your paint, excuse me, throughout your project. Okay, so I'm going to start with the natural bristle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start painting my top coat over top of the base coat. Just applying it for full coverage, but there again, leaving a little bit of some of the country gray showing through. We thought it'd be great to kind of show you on a piece of furniture too. You can see I'm putting it on pretty thick. I'm not getting it too thin. And I'm kind of leaving some of that country gray peeking through, just so we can see the base coat coming through. It'll really help with your distressing. Come down here on the sides, drag it, and then drag this way. Some of that. If you get a bristle, you can come just parallel with your surface and pull it out. And we're going to go here and fill that in there. This was a great little table to begin with. The finish was just really worn out. It was a little slick, so basically the prep work that was involved was cleaning the surface, which we always recommend so that Annie's paint can bond to the surface, which is really what makes it such a great paint. It actually bonds and hardens where like a latex will just kind of lay on the surface and tends to chip and peel. So we just cleaned it, and then it did have a little bit of a slick finish. So after I cleaned it, we just took a 120 grit sandpaper and just quickly scuffed that surface. It also had a little bit of gold paint on it, so we had to sand that back too because it was really just starting to chip and peel off. So we did take that off too. That's pretty much it. The prep work is very minimal. So you can see I have really nice brush stroke here. This is kind of what we're going for. We want to see some texture, some brush stroke. You know, to further accentuate your furniture and to give it even more texture, chalk paint doesn't like to be overworked. Once you kind of lay it down, you want to leave it alone and let it dry. But if you know you want more texture and brush stroke, what you can do is actually drag your brush through it as it's drying and kind of pull that paint back and create a little bit more texture. So it's something I would say you might want to experiment with just to see if you like the look. It might be too much texture for you. You know, brush stroke just might be enough for you. So we're just going to leave that like that. That looks great, I think. We have nice coverage. You can see how I left some open areas here. That's the country gray peeking through, and that's, you know, that's what I want to see. I don't really care for the furniture how it started in the beginning. So I really wanted to see a different color come through, so we put that country gray down first. So we'll set the drawer aside, and now we're going to work on the body of the furniture piece.
We have low network connection.
Is it working?
So it's not live, but it's recording.
Okay, well, we'll just go with it. So we might be having some issues with our internet connection today. I don't know if it's the weather. It's raining here in Delaware. So it seems that it might be recording at this point, but you can feel free to, once you see the video, during the video, ask questions, and we'll get back to you too. So we'll just keep going at it. So now I'm going to start on the side of the furniture, and I'm going to do the same thing, kind of every which way. Bristle, just pull it out. And you can see I'm going to start to go back. When you want to leave an open spot, you kind of pull it this way and then you work your way back up to it, and you don't fully cover it. My pressure is very soft. I'm not pressing very hard at all, and that's really how you get nice coverage with her paint, is you don't really press real hard. You don't want to drag and pull. You just want to apply it very, kind of like lay it down, essentially, and then you just move along. Just open a new brush. I'm getting a couple little bristles coming out. So check your under part there. All right, that looks nice. So now we're gonna do the leg part. Tilt it up for you. Drag and pull back. Can you see that okay, or is it getting a little bit of a glare, or is it okay?
No, you're good.
Okay. So you can see I am working with quite a bit of paint on my brush, because I'm really going for basically one coat over the country gray. So I don't want it to be too thin. Let me re-angle that. So we're gonna come here. I'll tilt it back just a little bit so I can get my foot, the bottom of the foot. So it's looking really good. I like how the brush stroke and the texture is coming through. Now I'm gonna kind of work towards the front. I know this would be an area I would see nice distressing kind of on this corner here. So I'm gonna make it a point to leave some of that showing through of the base color. So we're gonna do that and get the bottom part of this leg. So it's nice if you can kind of tilt your project. I know some bigger projects you won't be able to, but if you can kind of tilt the project, you can get that distressing to look really nice down around the feet of your furniture, where that's probably where you're going to see a lot of distressing, just because that's where people bump into a piece of furniture a lot. It's down around the feet. So now I'm going to come across to get this part. Leave some of that showing through and come back over here too and do this part. All right, so you can see how quick it goes. It really does go really fast. So now we're going to move this way towards the front. There again, remember I did this side of the furniture already for us so we can get to the waxing part. So now I'm going to do the same thing. And when I load up my paintbrush with the paint, I don't always go right towards an edge, because then it tends to drip all over the place. So I kind of like go for more the center of a piece of furniture. So I get this really nice